guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a one brand tutorial on the brand e.l.f. So every product that is on my face today is from the brand e.l.f. and if you want to see how I did this look, then just keep watching. Okay, so don't mind my hair because I know it's looking rough right now, but we're just going to get started. So I'm going to use the e.l.f. Poreless Face Primer and I'm just going to give a little pump in my hand. And then I'm just going to take this, and I like to personally kind of dot it around my face so that I know I'm getting product everywhere that I want it to be. And once I do that, blend it in with my fingers. Really trying to focus it and press it into the skin around my nose. And on my forehead, I rub it in first, and then I really try to press that in, just where I generally have like larger pores. Okay, next I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. Everything in this video is e.l.f., so I'm going to stop saying that. I'm going to go in with the... This is what I hate. They don't put the names of the products on the actual product. I think it's like the Flawless Finish Foundation or something. I don't know. This is what it looks like. In the shade Porcelain. It does have a pump, so that's exciting. I'm just going to take a pump of this. No, a pump and a half. 2 pumps. I just took like a pump and a half. And then what I'm going to do is, again, I like to just dot it on my face so that I know exactly where I'm getting the product. Once that is all dotted on my face, I'm going to take this e.l.f. brush. Again, they don't have names, so this is what it looks like. It's like some kind of buffer brush. I don't particularly like to do my foundation with a brush, but I don't have an e.l.f. sponge. They make e.l.f. sponges, but I just don't have one, so I'm going to use this brush instead. And I'm just doing like little packing, pouncing motions, kind of like buffing it in as well. I think I'm going to do one more pump and just add a bit more coverage, just because I feel like that brush kind of blended away the majority of it. And then this time I'm just going to take my Real Technique sponge, because like I said, I don't have a e.l.f. sponge. But they do make them, I just haven't tried one. Personally, this is just my favorite way to apply foundation, is with a like beauty blender type thing or a sponge. Next I'm going to use the e.l.f. concealer. Again, they don't have the product name, so it's just the concealer in the shade Fair, and it looks like this. I actually haven't used this concealer before, so we'll see how this goes. It looks pretty not fair at all. In whose world is this fair? Like, do you see how not fair that is? We're gonna blend it out with the beauty sponge. Okay, it looks about my skin tone. That didn't brighten anything. Okay, we'll try it to conceal my little pimple that I have. I have a little pimple right there. He's still there. Okay, for a spot conceal, I don't think that concealer was bad, but I mean, I know this isn't supposed to be a first impression, this is supposed to be a full face, but that's the first time I used it. So just be wary. Fair is not fair. That is super dark. Super dark. I have the e.l.f. Cream Contour Palette, and I really do like this product. I'm gonna try and take the highlight shade and use that as a concealer and see if this works a little better. It might be too yellow, but maybe it'll at least brighten some things up. So I'm just going to use the beauty blender again, or the sponge, to blend it out. Okay, so that side's looking a little more bright and highlighted. So next I'm going to use the cream contour in the palette. I'm going to use this shade right here, and I'm just going to cream contour with that. I've really been into cream contouring recently. It's just been my thing. It's been my jam. And I think this palette is fairly good for the price. So I'm gonna snatch my nose a little bit. And I'm gonna use the EcoTools Wonder Cover Complexion Brush just to blend this out. And again, I want to do like kind of swiping-ish motions, and then I want to pull it up instead of bringing it down, because that defeats the whole purpose of contouring. we want to like blend it away from the bridge of the nose so that it casts like that little shadow and fools the imagination, makes you think I have a skinnier, slimmer nose. To set all those creams, I'm going to go into the Perfect Finish HD powder, and it looks like this. It has a nice mirror. And I'm going to use the, again, e.l.f. brush that has no name. I think it's just like the large powder brush from their like newer line. But I'm just going to put this all over the face. Now this powder has an amazing like finish to it. It makes your skin look so flawless. It's ridiculous. But it does have flashbacks, so if you're taking like flash photography or you're going out at night and you know that you're going to be taking pictures or something, I would not wear this powder just because it will give you like major ghost vibes. So definitely don't wear this powder if you're going out. I'm going to move on to eyebrows because I need brows on my face right now. e.l.f. does have a few eyebrow products. So they have their old one, the e.l.f. brow pencil, that is in the white packaging, and it has the larger, thicker tip. I don't know if you can tell right there, but this is the one that does have that bigger tip. But I do like it for the spoolie side because it has a nice large spoolie. And e.l.f. also does have like eyebrow kits. So it has the powder on one side and the pomade on the other side. I did used to use this. This was the first brow product that I ever used. I still do love this, but my favorite from e.l.f. is their new e.l.f. Ultra Precise Brow Pencil in the shade Neutral Brown. So this is just their brow pencil with a very, very slim applicator and a smaller spoolie on the other side as well. So I'm just going to do my brows with this. This one's more like the Anastasia Brow Wiz type situation. And this is like a long process, but I'll walk you through one of my brows and then I'll do the other off camera. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to first comb through my brows, and then I like to start kind of at the front of my brow, but not the very front. And I like to underline the bottom first, so it gives me an idea of where my brow's going. And then what I'm going to do is go back into the front and using a very, very light hand, I'm going to underline that part as well. And then what I like to do is I like to line the top of the brow now. And then I'll bring it in to the front and lightly make a line here, and then I stop about right in the very front because that's where I need like a very lighter, more brush-like stroke hairs. So I stop there, and then I fill in the rest of my brow gently with the pencil between the two lines that I made, just making sure that the brow is completely full looking and that I don't have any bald spots. What I'll do is I'll just take the spoolie and run it through the brow again and get those hairs back where I want them. But I'll just do light little brush strokes to make it look like little hairs. And you don't want to be too harsh in this area because it can create like the block brow, and that's not the look I'm going for. If that's what you're going for, then go ham, but that's not the look I'm going for. Okay, and then I just make sure and brush through it lightly again, because I don't want to lose all that pigment. And then there is one brow done. So then I'm going to do the other one off camera and then we'll be right back. Okay, so now that both of my eyebrows are done, I'm going to move on to eyes. So I'm going to zoom you in really quick. Okay, so now that we're up close and personal, so e.l.f. makes like a lot of eyeshadow, but my favorite are the Mad for Matte palettes, and I have 3 of them. So I have the Holy Smokes, the original, and then I have the Summer Breeze palette. Out of all 3 of these, my favorite is the Summer Breeze palette just because it has more warmer tones and, you know, colors that I love, like warm tones. This is what that palette looks like. They're all beautiful, great formula, everything. So I'm just going to use this one today, and then in conjunction with, because these are matte palettes, I'm going to use also the e.l.f. Prism eyeshadow palette. So this is an all shimmer palette that has beautiful shimmers in it. So I'm just going to use the Summer Breeze Matte for Matte palette in conjunction with this palette. So I'm just going to go in with this shade first, the first shade in the palette, and I'm going to pick it up and run it over my entire eye just because I do have oily eyelids, I want to make sure I set my eye before I start any kind of shadow, because I did put concealer on my lids to prime. Next, I'm going to go into the second shade in the palette, so this one right here, and I'm just going to take this on a nice fluffy crease brush, and I'm just going to run this color through my crease. And on a different crease brush, I'm going to take the third shade in the palette right here, and then I'm just going to run this through the crease as well to add some warm beautifulness to the look. Okay, next I'm going to go into the next shade in the palette, and I'm going to run this through the crease as well. I'm kind of keeping this more like down on the lid and in the crease rather than high up in the crease like the other two colors. I'm going to go into shade in the palette, focus it like towards the outer crease, or the outer V, and slowly bring it in. Okay, so actually, change of plans, I have this e.l.f. Molten Liquid Eyeshadow in the shade Rose Gold, and it looks like this. These are really nice. I like these a lot. I'm going to take this and I'm going to carve out like my inner portion of my lid, and then I'll put the shimmer on top of it, just because I don't think these will be enough for my likings. I think this does make it a whole lot easier though, like doing a cut crease, just because you don't have to cut the crease and then use your shadow. You can literally just use this thing. And now that that's dry, I'm going to go into the Prism eyeshadow palette, and I'm going to take this third shade right here. It's more of like a pinky, like rose goldish type shade. And then I'm going to work it on the same place that I put that molten shadow. And you really don't have to wet your brushes with these eyeshadows, because these Prism eyeshadows show up really, really well. Like, can you see that? It's really well. But if you want to, you can totally wet your brush for an even more intense look. I'm gonna just try it and show you guys how much more intense it looks. So I'm just going to take the e.l.f. Magic Mist and Set Setting Spray and just spray the brush. And then I'm going to take it and work it on my lid. It just intensifies the metallicness of the shade. Like, can you tell the difference between these two? I don't know if you can. I'm just asking. And then I'm just going to do the same thing to the other eye. We're going to deepen it up just a little bit. I'm going to go back into the Matte for Matte Summer Breeze eyeshadow palette, and I'm going to take this nice brown in the palette, and I'm going to focus this on the outer V, like directly on the outer V, just to deepen that up a little bit. Okay, and just to make sure, because I like everything blended, I'm just going to go back into my blending brush and just lightly blend so that there's no harsh edges or anything. I didn't put any more product on the blending brush, by the way. Okay, and for now, we're going to move on, or move away from eyes, and we'll come back to them in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to take again, they don't put the names on these stupid things, but I think it's the bronzer and blush duo in the shade Fiji Matte, and it just looks like this. I'm going to take the bronzer shade in the palette, and I'm just going to dip my brush in, and I'm going to put this in my like bronzer and use it as a contour as well. Even though we already cream contoured, I really love it. Just do a little bit of the forehead and then bring it down. Okay, and I'm not going to use the blush in this palette because I do have a different one I love. They have individual single blushes, and I used to use the, there's like a mauve one in that line, and I love that. I went through like 3 or 4 things of that, but I just don't have another one on hand. So I'm going to use the blush palette. It comes with 4 blushes. I'm going to use this shade right here. This one's just my favorite in the palette. I think I actually might go in just a tiny bit with this shade at the top, the like deeper pink shade. And just pop just a tiny bit of that on my cheeks as well. And then what I always do is I go in with a blending brush after that. It's just a big fluffy powder brush, but I use this to like blend. And then I just blend those two colors together so that there's not like a harsh line of blush and contour or bronzer. Okay, I have two highlights from e.l.f. that I really love. First is this shimmering highlighting powder in the shade Pearl Glow. This is a really beautiful highlight, but I also have the highlight in Moonlight Pearls. So they look very similar. This one is more like champagne-y and this one is more like white. So I'm just going to go in with, what was this? Pearl Glow first and just pop this on my cheeks. It's a very, very white, light highlight. So if you're if you're pretty fair, this would probably work really well for you. If you're like deeper, it might show up as like completely stark white, so I might stay away from it. And then I'm going to go into the Moonlit Pearls. This is a beautiful, beautiful highlight. This is newer to my collection, but it is very, very stunning. And they tell you that you do have to like scrape off the top, and that's true, because if you don't, it's like a hard mess. So I'm just gonna be really highlighty today because that's what I like. And I'm just gonna pop this on my cheeks as well. So that's it for the face. I'm gonna zoom you guys back in and we'll finish off the rest of my eyes. Okay, so we're gonna go back into the Mad for Matte Summer Breeze palette. And I'm just going to take a mixture of the first two crease shades that I used, and I'm going to run those on the bottom lash line, bringing it all the way in as well. Then I'm going to take that brown I used on the top of the lid to smoke out, and I'm just going to put it on the outer corners, like focusing it outside, bringing it a little bit in, but I don't want to go all the way in with this color because I don't want to make the eyes super small. I'm going to go back into the Prism palette, and I'm going to take the first shade right here, the whiter shade, and I'm going to pop this into my inner corners just to give a little brighter effect right there. Makes you look a little more awake and ready to start your life. And then I'm also going to use this as a brow bone highlight. Ooh, girl, that's shimmery, that's shimmery. I don't actually have a e.l.f. liquid liner or anything. I used to, and I can't seem to find what happened to it, so I'm just not going to do it today. So I'm going to instead just move on to mascara, and I'm going to use the Volume Plumping Mascara. This is honestly not my favorite mascara in the world, but it's not horrible either. So I'm just going to take this and put it on my lashes. Now, like I said, it's not my favorite mascara, but it does do the job, so there we go. Now I'm going to zoom you back out, and all we have is lips, guys. Okay, so first I'm just going to start by wiping off the foundation that is left on my lips, because that's gross. And then I'm actually going to go into the e.l.f. I think this is like their lip scrub or something. I don't really remember. It's just like a nice exfoliator in the form of a lipstick so that you don't have to like dig your hands into a exfoliator. So I'm just going to use this to exfoliate my lips. And this has the nicest smell to it. I think they make a few shades or like scents, but mine's just in clear and it is wonderful. Okay, and then I'm just going to wipe that off because it does leave a little bit of like a residue. That's one of my favorite ways to exfoliate my lips because it's so easy and you don't have to like dig your finger into something. Then I'm going to use the Liquid Matte Lipstick in the shade Praline. These liquid lipsticks are so amazing. I love the formula. It's great. Alright guys, and the last thing to do is spray my face. So again, I'm going to use the Matte Magic Mist and Setting Spray. And I'm just going to spray this on my face. I I am gonna say that e.l.f.'s sprays, like their mists, are not the best. They're kind of harsh and kind of like, whoop, in your face, but I mean, it was also like $2, so I think I can deal with it. Alright guys, and that is everything for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you liked this video, give it a like. Please let me know if you've tried any of these products and if you liked them or if you didn't like them and what your favorite e.l.f. products are. If you want to see more videos like this where I do a one brand tutorial, then just let me know and let me know the brand that you'd like me to do. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, guys, and again, thank you so much for watching my video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!